with you all. So I'm going to start recording. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Jason. Uh, you weren't here with us last week, and you are now, and the Bald Avenger.
Bald Avenger, baby.
Yep. I love it. Well, to start, I don't know that you got Caroline. Oh, okay, that's right. You're going to be on twice. I don't know that you got the job descriptions of all the different volunteer positions and what we're fielding with the different teams. Jason, it's in the closed group.
Okay.
However, we'll go over that. Hello, Kevin. So great to see you. Glad you're here. And I don't know that I'm gonna introduce a few of the people that maybe were not here this last week, and so it's for the record because we do have the video from last week. Everybody can watch. Of course, everybody knows Jason from that will be here. He's he's my coach, and he also he knows so much when it comes to the nonprofits. He's helping me tremendously through the course. I am learning so much. It is truly eye-opening. It is I can't even say enough about the inspiration that it is true. I'm dreaming about it now. It's getting to that point where like, okay, then it wakes me up to go do it. And so and then so thank you for that, Jason. And then we have Tony that just joined us, and I'm going to be introducing Tony to Jason in a moment because you need to know who Tony is. We have Kevin. Kevin, thank you for joining us. Kevin is a videographer, and actually, Jason, Kevin was the videographer that did my hometown video. He did the editing of it, and when it was too long and we needed to shorten it, he's the one that pulled it all together and
it was
told the
gorgeous.
story.
Good job, Kevin.
Yeah. And Kevin has really got, we know each other pretty well, and he knows this mission of Chemo Buddies, and he knows how important it is for us to have the story, to be able to get people to engage. And so Kevin is here to help tell that story for us, and so I'm grateful for that. We have Mikey. Mikey is traveling right now, so he will be in a car, but he was calling in. So Mikey, glad you're here. And then I am going to reintroduce Tony to everyone, especially for you, Jason, because this is really important. Tony is our developer for the beta site that we are going to be we're going to actually show you a little bit about it tonight, and so that you guys understand what it is that we're raising funds for and what we can really do, because we need to have not only just a story, but we need to have something concrete. And we have actually been working on something that it was under wraps there for a while, that we Tony took it on himself to be reworking and working different types of software and plugins and all sorts of, and writing some code himself to come up with what we've got right now. It's a back-end situation for the website that will be the Buddies site. And it's something that right now, the front end, let's just say, butt ugly. We're okay with that. We know it. And should I have not won, we were just going to release the beta how it was, and then let everybody know that the back end was the most important thing, because it's about creating buddies. And so now we'll be able to, with the help of the teams, I was on the phone with Melissa Hull today, and we were talking about the branding. Brooke is helping us, and we're taking it very much in what is the most immediate need right now, and then what is the long term. So we're working both, and we've been working it for a while, and that's why I wanted to gather us again tonight. And again, we have the job descriptions of the different teams and what it is that we would be doing and how we can all work together. And I loaded that into the closed group. And many of you already know what you want to be doing. And there's some that you may be wanting to be in a couple of different teams. There may even be some that will, okay, Kevin, great. There will be some that maybe will decide not to participate, and that's okay too. You know, there's a place for everybody if they want to be here. So let's see. Oh, Marianne. Okay, I do want to introduce Marianne to just about everybody. Marianne is actually the treasurer of my board, and she knows her stuff. She teaches this stuff. She consults with boards. She's been on a number of them. She has created her own nonprofits. She is an accountant. She's worked with governments, and she's worked in grants. She knows compliance. She knows it, and she's known me for the last couple of years. She's been there to support Chemo Buddies for Life and me through some of the journey of going forward. And I asked Marianne to be here in particular because we had some questions about international money. So we're going to cover that. And then Erin, Erin has not been to one of the meetings, but the ambassadors know who Erin is. She is one of our ambassadors. Erin's background is that she is a single mom in Utah, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and her mission is to see that you can have your own business. And she's she's excellent with paperwork and processes, and you know, she very well may team in a variety of different ways. So we've got a variety of different skills here, and what I'd like to do is see if Jason has anything he would like to say to start us all off too, because I know he's over there he's up there in the right hand corner right now. And so do you have anything you want to say before we get going?
Just nice hat, Chuck.
Nice. Oh, you guys, did you get the memo?
Got the memo. Yep.
You know, and I have to say, I love the branding. Were you involved in the branding for?
I was not. I have just been involved in making sure that everybody, you know, that they never have enough hats in stock.
Okay.
People buy them up all the time. Like it's a really great marketing campaign. All I want to say is that I'm glad to be here. I know that this is all time that everybody donates and takes out of their busy time and in their busy life. Like, I've been all of the years that I've been working in nonprofits and charities, you know, y'all are the thing that makes these things work. And so I wanted to honor your hearts and your commitment and everybody being here to support what Tamara's doing, number one. And then number two, I just want to say that moving forward, there's going to be a lot more structure. There's going to be a lot more process. There's going to be a lot more procedure. And that's all needed for execution, right? I'm here because I believe in the vision and the outcome of what this can do for the world. And I believe that Tamara's got the commitment to follow it through, and that's a big deal. I mean, I've dealt with so many charities where the charity was about the individual and they were in it for sort of self-aggrandizement sort of scenarios. And that takes a while to get through, to where you end up with somebody like Tamara, which is extremely valuable to me, that will take the guidance and the leadership and do the hard work. Because having me around is not easy. It's not an easy thing. And the accountability and the processes and the discipline. And if you make a promise out to the world that we're going to follow through on that, no matter what the consequences. And so drawing out the strengths of everybody that's here. Some of you will make it. Some of you won't make it. Some of you, maybe all of us will make it, and then the team grows. But if you're going to start something as big as this vision is, it takes a lot of work, a lot of discipline, and there's a lot of 99.9% of that work is done out of the limelight and in the shadows. So you know, I'm a process and a procedure guy. I'm an outcome guy. I'm a measurement guy. I think that we should use our passion, right? Like I use Michael Jackson is always the guy that I use as my example for somebody who mastered process and procedure. He mastered dance. You know, Michael Jordan mastered basketball. And so he mastered those steps so that when the time came, it created maximum flexibility, right? For him to step out and do his woohoo, which made him famous, right? But it was because he nailed the basics. And whether it's a business or a 501c3, the basics are process, procedure, and then we get awesome opportunities to step out and do things when opportunity arises that will bring attention and thereby money and thereby support, thereby longevity, thereby predictability, thereby certainty for the people that need what Tamara didn't have when she needed it. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. You know, once we get our arms around that process and procedure, it's going to be, now you can add fuel to a car that the wheels aren't going to fall off of.
Thank you. That, you know, and I am committed. I think you all know that I am committed to, and I had this discussion with Marianne just a couple nights ago where we went through everything, because she's a process and procedure, and you know, she's really good. Okay, we need to do this, we need to do that, you know, and
well, Marianne realizes my favorite saying, which is, when math meets opinion, math wins.
Oh, right? Yeah. And let me just say that Marianne, I'm honored that Marianne's here. Our board president was not able to be here. He wanted to be. He is at a city council meeting right now in his neighborhood that he is very involved in. And so he'll be watching this. And we really have been stepping up the game when it comes to who it is that is involved with Chemo Buddies for Life, because you know it is. This is huge, and we all know it, and we're excited about it. And we will actually be changing the way that cancer is done, and we're going to be talking about it. I say globally, and that's one of the reasons that Marianne is here, and so that we can clarify how globally is going to look right now with even receiving donations, because of the fact that we are registered here in the United States, we are approved here in the United States, and we will be touching the buddies throughout the world through the rough beta that we're going to be showing you in just a little bit, because it can go throughout the world, and but it can be housed here in the United States. So do you have anybody any questions on that? So why don't we do this? If it's all right, I'd like, Marianne, do you need to jump off here soon, or can you go through just a little explanation?
Are you accepting cryptocurrency as payment, or are you getting into that, or what's going on with that?
Marianne, let me get you unmuted. There you go.
No, I don't think at this time I wouldn't accept cryptocurrency.
Okay, good.
We do have a merchant account that right now is dormant because it's not attached to the landing page for the current Chemo Buddies that we have. However, we do have an actual merchant account that we will be syncing into the cb4l.org site that will be for the event, and then it will be for the for the actual beta site that we're working on right now, that Tony is going to be sharing. So Marianne, do you have time to see what Tony is going to be sharing here?
Sure, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Tony, do you mind just showing us for a few moments? Do you have the ability to share there?
I think so. Let me give it a shot.
Okay.
See what happens.
Now, let me kind of preface this as he starts to bring it up. Chemo Buddies for Life is is going to be able to, the people will be able to think of like a matching site where they can go, and you will actually see some verbiage in here that this is a hybrid, but the base came from a matching site. And the idea will be that if they want a buddy, they'll be able to find a buddy. However, if they want to be a part of the community, they don't have to have their own buddy doing it. We had to start somewhere, and this is not going to be released quite yet. There's a lot of work still being done on this, but this is months of work that he's going to be just sharing with you right now.
Right. This is a template, you know, based off of a dating website that I've modified to be a buddy matching site. So the idea being that, you know, you come here, you put in what you're looking for, a little bit of criteria, maybe a little bit about what type of cancer you might be dealing with. And we also have this category for support buddies as well. That is if you're not experiencing anything with cancer, but you're supporting somebody that is, that would be the type of thing that you would choose there. And then maybe some treatments that you've tried.
Wow.
And so you can do a search and it will try and match you. I've loaded some fake profiles that you see scrolling down here at the bottom. And some of these people, I gave some fake conditions that we could search for. And somebody would come up as a certain percentage of match. And so we'll try that real quick. Hopefully this works. I should have probably tested it before doing this. We'll say,
all of our entire faith is going to be whether or not this works out this minute.
Okay, so we'll say Mesa and then cancer.
I'm excited. It was cool.
We'll leave that blank, see if anybody comes up.
Seven numbers. Very. Oh no numbers.
Well, at some point in time, there will be. I mean, this is, and what he has done here is he went with the most, what'd you say, the most popular cancers basically right now.
Maybe,
it's just a place to start.
Maybe just do location. Maybe not location.
Just bring up the one file that we were looking at earlier today.
Oh, sure. Well, here's the search. You know, it returned myself here and then this other person.
Okay.
That I could look at their profiles for. But yeah, if the person that we looked at earlier in the day, just to be consistent.
That's great.
Let me go down here, and there's only a few people in here, so we can just search through. This was the one that we looked at earlier. And so this is the activity. Now, Sierra Everlasting, this profile hasn't made any posts yet, but you know, she's made some changes to her account, and because they're set to public, we can see those changes here. You have the ability to set whatever you're doing, pictures, posts, whatever else, to like a public, a private option, and there might be one other choice. Oh, I think it could be for a group or something like that, where you can, you know, kind of control who gets to see it, you know, whatever you're putting on this page. And then we have the profile information here. You can kind of see a little bit of this up top too. Right now it's redundant information. Everything that's up here in this section is also going to appear down here. But, you know, just a little bit of particulars about her, the summary. I didn't write anything special, sorry for that, but you get the idea. Whatever she would say is going to go in these areas. And we can add or remove these categories. They're basically just placeholders for maybe better things in the future. Some things she likes to do. It's very, very much like a dating site, but you know, we can change that. Here's a little bit of it that's a little more cancer specific. You know, I said she has stage 2 breast cancer and she's tried chemotherapy. So anyhow, that's how the profile build out looks.
Great work, Tony. I'm very impressed. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
And one thing I would like to just share here is, remember the look and the feel of it. This is the back end he's talking about. The look, the colors, the out, just a lot of it will look very, very different. It's the functionality right now that has been the most important thing for us.
Right, and there's a whole lot more than this. You know, we have a blog section on here where we can write a bunch of articles. I don't know what I've got in here right now. Let's just check it out. Okay, so this is an image from the Chemo Buddies website and just some placeholder text. And, you know, basically whatever type of blogging we would do, it can just be added to this page. It can be categorized and searched through so that there's some type of an organization to it.
Are all social media platforms integrated with this, or?
Well, I've got these up at the top here, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Right now, they're just links out. Like, I could make it so that you log in with your Facebook profile. Right now, I chose not to do that, but it's easy to set it up like that.
Because we want to keep people on the site, correct?
Right now, we would keep people on the site. Yeah, they wouldn't go to Facebook if that's what your question is.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Is there any HIPAA concerns?
Oh yeah.
The HIPAA concerns that I have been told in regards to this, I've talked to quite a few attorneys about it. We don't have one on staff, you know, that's a volunteer right now. But in asking about it, they're volunteer. We will have legal wording on there in regards to terms and conditions, and there's two different ones. And I've got the wording that's been worked on before when we did try this and it crashed and burned. However, what I've been told is that they come here, it is a voluntary situation in regards to their sharing this information, and it's considered entertainment.
Got it.
So what I have been told is that every single time I bring this up, because of the fact that, you know, I want it to be very, very ironclad on the back end, and been very careful about, that's why even the onboarding, that they're choosing to do the drop downs, but we don't have a lot of that like you might see in other ones, like a real matching site. It would be, you know, mandatory that you put this, mandatory that you put that. This is going to be voluntary, a lot of free form wording, like what am I looking for, who am I, and what am I looking for. So we're leaving it somewhat very generic, and every person that I've talked to in regards to this has assured me that I'm overthinking it and that everything will be fine, but I'd rather overthink it. And good question.
And for me, those things are a little bit necessary for the matching algorithm that I'm using to kind of pair somebody with somebody else of like a similar, you know, experience. But you don't have to actually show that. I can make that a hidden thing so it's not displayed, you know, whatever we decide is the best thing. But yeah, that's a possibility as well.
Well, that's what originally in all of the, in designing this in the very beginning, was that the questionnaire of anything that we would have that would be that they would need to do any kind of a drop down would eventually be on the back end. And the only thing that would be seen would be the free form words that they would choose. So then it would be on our back end that we need to really make sure that we have really good security in regards to the information that we are holding. You know, and again, that's where I was told by a medical, he works in law in the medical world, and he kept saying, you know, you're going to be good. And I'm like, we're going to be good because we're going to overthink it. We are going to overprotect it because that's what we need to do for this brand and for them that are coming to us to, you know, relieve their issues, not to create worse ones for themselves because of us.
Got it.
But good question. Why don't you show, because we need to get going, but why don't you do this? I do want you to show like the community forum area, because that some people are not going to want they're not going to be as big on the buddies, and some of the ambassadors would even be able to shake their heads. Yes, we know that already. They just want that community feel. This is just the beginning of it, and this is where when I was telling everybody that that I've been talking to for the last couple of years, that at some point we'll need them to even get involved, and there will be a place for them in the community. This is very rough, and this is going to be our first beta, but we've figured out in the community, in the forum, how we can actually specialize in certain areas. So why don't you show the one that we even worked on today?
Okay, I think I need to go back to the home page for that. But real quick, just to give an overview into it before we switch away. So we've got some community stuff right here where you can have groups and forums within the community. Those would tie into your profile. So you can be a member of one group but not necessarily another. Same thing for forums. You can, I think there's forums that can be contained within groups. And there's also ones that can be public so that anybody can see them. And then this would just be a list of the forums, which I only have questions and comments under there. There's more than that, but building all this out takes time, and I haven't got it all done. So
that's great work, Tony.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Tony again, and hats off to him, because this is a bit of a beast, and it's something that this is
great job.
a huge piece to what we're all about. There's so much more, but this is what's going to unite us in being able to have buddies within the Buddies Network. And it's something that any of the ambassadors that have been helping us for the last year, 2 years would be able to say that we've needed this. We can use it, and we'll be able to have some of the events and such things that we're going to be talking about next. We'll be able to sync them into here, because at some point we'll be able to have like Zoom meetings within the different communities and within the different groups. And let's say we have a special doctor that's coming for a certain group that some of the other groups maybe wouldn't be interested in, but they could be able to come in and have a special experience with them. There's a lot of things we can do with this. It's a matter of making it happen. And I wanted to show you all tonight, because we're talking about the fundraiser and what is it that Chemo Buddies is doing? Well, we're helping to alleviate the fear of being alone, and the fear of not knowing, the fear of not having someone that's going to be there for them. And we won't go into showing the software right now, but Tony also has something that we're going to be linking into this, and we're going to be using for the Giving Tuesday event. And I'm just going to give a really high level overview. He's got software, proprietary software that is that works with phone systems. So we will be able to, let's say someone needs a buddy, and it's a kind of not a 911 like they need an emergency doctor, or they need to be seen by a professional, but they need someone now and their buddy's not available, and we can have buddy groups and people that volunteer to be able to receive those calls. And that can be the difference of feeling like you are alone or not, having someone that just will understand and possibly be able to just take their phone call. And he's got the software that can make that happen. And he also has the software to be able to put onto this site where there will be a distinct number for Chemo Buddies for Life, and then it will be able to wash through to if we have volunteers, one to be, and then like for Tony, the technical team, it would go straight to him. They would be able to push 3 for the technical team. The phone call would then come to him, and it would say, as he's opening it, as he's answering it, it has a different code on it.
Well, what happens is it will play a message that whichever message I ask it to play, I can either do a text-to-speech where I type in a message, or we record a message of some kind, but it would be something like, Chemo Buddy's technical support. I would hear that in my phone before the call connects. That way I'm able to answer the phone like that. I can answer the phone, Chemo Buddy's technical support, how can I help you? As opposed to answering the phone, hello, or, you know, some other way.
So this will also help with, you know, if someone says, well, you know, that's good and great, you know, online. Well, what about the human touch? What about the human voice? What about those things? And we'll be able to say, yes, well, you know, the human touch at some point in time, we will be using this as a hub also. And I've been creating the relationships for the last couple of years for a lot of the brick and mortar locations throughout the United States, where, like in my neck of the woods, we have Michelle's Place. And if they needed a hug and they wanted to go somewhere local, we would be able to then say, well, then check out California, check out Temecula, boom, there you go. And this is going to help us with the long term. In that question that was asked when I was on the Next Impactor stage, when was said, you know, what would you do about the legal thing? Well, you know, there's some legal things that we do need to have take place for the people that are faced by cancer. Marianne knows, she's mentored by the same person that's my senior advisor, and she's very linked into the government. And at some point in time, when all of us unite through this ability here, then we'll be able to also be able to go and make an effective change to the laws, go and educate our politicians. So there's a lot that we are building for this, and I don't want to overwhelm anymore. I just wanted you guys to see that there is something really real, tangible that we are working on, that we are then going out there for the second annual Giving Tuesday event to say that we are here to stay. We are going to have something that, you know, we are right now making a difference. We're making a social difference to the buddies that are with us. However, we are going to be able to go out there and change the world. We can say that with a surety, with the fact that we've got this in the works.
Tamara,
So,
I have a question.
yes, yes.
Are you on the drop-down box where it says "I am whatever"? Are you doing this for? Are you doing this for women specific? Are you?
No, we're all stages, all cancers, all stages, all cancers. So what will happen with this, the drop downs, and this is very important because there's nothing really out there like this. However, in all the talking in the very beginning and asking the questions of medical directors and, you know, the therapists in some of the different clinics and everything like this, and asking as we were coming up with this concept, there's been a lot of due diligence. And would it be something that would work, having all the different cancers together and having the feeling like they're supported? And because of the fact we're not raising the funds, because of the fact that we can concentrate on the people, and because of the nature of what we're building, then yes, we're doing this all stages, all men, women, undefined, whatever they may be, and we will be able to have it in the drop-down ways with having them grouped into groups.
That's great. Because there's so many like transgendered, everybody who has breast cancer. And actually, I don't know if you saw today, Beyonce's father has breast cancer.
Many do. There's more men than many people would know, and so
right.
That's we are really making it known. And if you even go to the landing page, it's even mentioned there. The current landing page we have, it's just a landing page, but it's all welcomed. And it was actually mentioned there that male, female, LTGB,
right.
you know, that whole, all welcome. The only thing I tell people, and I'll say it live, is the only thing that we don't welcome are people that are going to harm our buddies. Other than that, if you need us, we're here. You know,
and also I wouldn't worry about HIPAA because you're not really gathering any personal data. You're not getting their social security numbers, because I've dealt with HIPAA databases with respect to HIV/AIDS and mental illness. You're not capturing anything that HIPAA uses or can. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that.
That's what you know, and that's what I have been assured
Yeah, no,
multiple times, is that we will be not only HIPAA compliant, but then with being, you know, making sure that we have back-end people. I even have people in my phone right now that when we get this going, they went to jail for breaking into websites, and they want to try to break into ours, and then they're going to volunteer to help us to not let it be broken into. So they're kind of in the wings. I've been out there talking to people for a while, and you know, and so one of them, his wife passed of cancer shortly before I met him, and he's like, I'm here, and I've been there for him. And so this is what it's all about. We're building something for each other, and so as we talk to others out there, guys, and that are like, oh, what are you up to? Well, can I get involved? Yeah, that you can. And the thing about it too is that when we do have employees and our board, anybody that is involved that will be involved long term, it will be like the Americans with Disabilities Act that was written, where 51% of any company that qualifies under ADA must have ADA they must have people, the employees, the board members, and everything must be 51% ADA. So there you go. So any questions in regards to this before we go on to now the event? Well, thank you very much for showing this. If you want to go ahead, and there we go. Now, the Giving Tuesday event. We have come up with a name, and hopefully you guys will all love it. I do, and that is, and I'm open to hearing your guys' thought in regards to how long it is. But it's either Chemo Buddies Givathon or Chemo Buddies for Life Givathon. And the reason that for life could be very important, because a lot of people like that part of the Chemo Buddies name, because it really does define the fact that we're all about life, and we're all about.
Well, it's the brand.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the brand. Okay. You stick with it.
Okay. Good. Done. All right. So next, we have the volunteers positions, but before we go into that, I want to go and give Mary Ann an opportunity, because Carol or Caroline has been very busy. She is in Canada, and she's been very busy in going to local businesses and been getting that they want to support us. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, it's Canadian dollars versus United States dollars. And they didn't want to use a credit card. They wanted to use a check, but they didn't want to send it across borders. And so we got Mary Ann involved already, and with Carol, and having a discussion. And so we wanted to just go and let everybody know what we can and cannot do in regards to that. Mary Ann? Oh, here, let me help you out here. There you go. Let me unmute. There you go.
No, that's fine. I would say we could once you get the website set up with your merchant services account set up, then it'll be easy to take any type of currency. But at this point, we're in the midst of a transition of bank checking accounts. And so the Canadian money that's coming in, just hold on to that donation, and then they could do the wire that you had talked about, and that could easily be transferred into a U.S. account, the Canadian dollars. The translation will happen, or the Canadians can send U.S. dollars. It's easy. That's what happens all the time when the Mexicans here in the United States send money to the family. They have to pay a fee for the conversion to the peso. So it'll be easy. Once we have the merchant account set up, we get a new banking account. So in my opinion, you just keep getting the donations, and then just hold on to them, or just hold on to them. That's the key, getting the donations, and then we'll be able to do any kind of conversion into the US dollars. But the merchant account, we're working on that, getting set up to take any type of currency.
Thank you.
But most likely, probably the easiest thing for people will be credit cards. Unless it's a big corporation that wants to give a $5,000 donation, that type of organization can send an international ACH if it's an international organization, or an international wire directly to the US account. And that conversion is done during sending the wire or the ACH. So there's different types of things on a higher level. I would say try to avoid taking checks, only because two things. It's more cost effective to send a wire or an ACH domestically and internationally. Getting a check, you still have to do the mail and all of that stuff. It's just a hassle. And there's more bank fees with respect to a check because they actually have to handle the check, or it's just cheaper. And then somebody asked about cryptocurrency. The valuation of that would be unclear. That's like, that is the wave of the future. A lot of people do that, but valuing that coin, we're not going to accept coins at this time.
Okay, thank you. And then also, if you want to address in kind, because right now, for example, Matt, who's not here right now, he was here last week. He's our gentleman in Vegas right now, and he's in discussions with a printer, and the printer is considering becoming our corporate printer. So that would be an in-kind type of a donation for the overall organization, but there's the kind of the raffle items and the auction items, and we're looking for those. And so just address that if you want, because you were kind of explaining it even to me on the tax form, how it all looks different and how the IRS deals with it slightly differently.
Right, so an in-kind donation is anything other than cash. So the printer who's going to donate their services, all they have to do is write a letter saying, this is how much we donated to Chemo Buddies for Life. Anybody who's giving an item for a silent auction, they'll write down approximately what the valuation of that silent auction item was. And so that's an in-kind donation. I do a lot of races, so we get a lot of tons and tons of Gatorade donated. So the company who's donating that Gatorade, they just send us a letter and say, this is how much the Gatorade we donated to you is worth. And then Chemo Buddies for Life, if it's a domestic corporation, we'll send them a letter saying, you donated to the Chemo Buddies for Life 5K walk, approximately, $10,000 in Gatorade donation. That's an in-kind donation. So anything other than cash. And so the way that, I'm going to get a little technical here, the way that's held on your financial statements, that's held as a donation, but it's shown up as a different thing. So everything is recorded.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so we were talking about this, I think Marianne and Carol, and Jason, if you're here, if you have anything that you would like to add, but I think that you use it too, or at least Danielle does, and that is Google's, like having a Google place that we can have some of these documents that people can grab for if you have an in-kind donation or any of those kind of things, and so that, and then we can, what would you like to see us to be able to do to make sure that we're keeping a list of what's coming in as it's coming in? Either Jason or Marianne, if you have should we set up a spreadsheet on Google Docs?
I would just set up a simple spreadsheet.
Okay.
And say who the donor is, their address, their federal ID number. Because what's going to be housed on the Chemo Buddies for Life and what everybody should have access to is the Chemo Buddies for Life name and their federal ID number. That's what everybody wants to know, what your federal ID number is.
Right. Right.
and
So,
your address. But it's mostly the federal ID number. 'Cause
right.
they're gonna take those in-kind donations as a deduction on their side.
Right. Absolutely. And we want them to. It's a win-win.
Well, yeah, it makes it more attractive.
Yes. Okay. So we'll get that set up. So this is where Aaron, I don't know, Aaron, if you're there and if you can unmute, if you would be open to, or you can tell me later, if you would be open to helping me to set up the Google area, I would appreciate that. You can tell me later. Okay. And welcome to Barbara. Barbara from Chicago. She interviewed me this morning, and she is a survivor, and she is here to help probably with the production team. So thank you. And so let's
Thank you,
keep
Barbara.
so let's just keep going. I want to make sure that we do this, is that we went over last week many of the okay, excellent. Thank you, Erin.
You can
Erin
help.
has
Cool.
said that she will help with that. So we've got Erin helping to set up. So we will let everybody know in the group that the Google's area has been set up. And now, as far as what I want to do is to let you guys know what it is that we're really looking for and what we really the need, unless there's any questions before we go on. Any questions of Marianne? Everybody clear on that? You did an excellent job. Thank you, Marianne. Okay, so the fun. This is going to be fun. This is a 24-hour fun event, and this is the homework. And you know, and thank you, Jason, for setting up the fact that yes, we're going to have processes, we're going to have procedures, and if we know what they are and we know what the end goal is, then we can work it back. We can also, you know, take care of the numbers, because it's all about the numbers will help us to make sure that we're doing this right. And there's 24 hours, that's, you know, that we will be live. A lot of work before then. We will, in the Google's area, we will be having the each hour put out there, you know, okay, so between 12:01 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning. And we will have that, and what I would like to be doing here, and again, is I'm going to encourage each one of you to think that you're on the fundraising and sponsorship and in-kind team, that all of us are going to be talking to anybody that we know to see how they can support no matter what we're doing. I really would like to encourage that. I know many of you already are and have already committed to that, because what we want to do, and this was actually Lauren Harris's idea, and that was that some of the hours could be sponsored by, like, he actually, it's funny, he brought up both Dunkin' Donuts and Danny Torres in the same sentence, which was very fun, you know. But Dunkin' Donuts, you know, like if we had a Dunkin' Donuts agreement and we were able to say, okay, now, you know, and have through these hours, drive time, and whoever it is that's entertaining, or whatever the healing through segments are during the morning hours, you'll get an extra, you know, so much off your coffee with your donut or whatever, and a certain percentage will go to Chemo Buddies for Life. And then, you know, and then Danny, if he was getting involved with the Green Drink because of what it is, like we had a discussion yesterday about how his product is really helping to change cancer, how it's helped him. He gave some great insight. I'd love to have him come on for the event, but he can't because he is going to be out of country. And so, but he may film something for us. And so these are just examples. We know people that know people, and if it makes sense, let's get them involved, because the more people we get involved, the more people we're going to have wanting to view, the more people we want to view, you know, it just adds more. So I'm open to ideas. to who it is that we may know that would be able to then, you know, like, for example, one of the wineries around here has almond champagne, and maybe Mikey knows the owners of it, Wilson Creek, and Wilson Creek has their product in a lot of the Costco's throughout the United States. So a lot of people love their items. Maybe we could do something with them. Maybe, you know, who knows what we could do in regards to some of the people that could possibly sponsor. This is not necessarily my will well. It will become my will well. But if, you know, if what I'm putting it out here because this is what I do. And so then anybody that this is their specialty, I'd love to team. And so we can make this, I can learn, and we can raise the funds and have a really great time doing it. We're going to be having specialties, specialty hours, specialty segments. Think of the Jerry Lewis telethon of old coming to the streaming media of now, and that we can actually create an amazing event. I'm going to talk with some of our video people and graphic people and see if we can get, you know, like some kind of, and this is where Lauren was going to look for some music, but you know, think of a really cool graphic and music starting this and starting every hour. Now we're back. Then we're going to have people. I want us to start figuring out, do you want to have a hosting party? Do you, you know, are you going to maybe have an event that you would like to have on that day? Check where, if you're going to be in Aloha, you know, in Hawaii or somewhere, you're going to be, oh, that's right, you're going to be in Northern California, did you say? Or Southern California? I know you're all over the place oftentimes. Let me see if I can get you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey,
Welcome,
so,
Coach.
So this morning I went back for the first time to work out at In Shape, and it's Cancer Month. So
Right.
you saw the pictures that I sent you.
Right.
I immediately jumped on that. I'm waiting for a GM or the assistant GM from that particular In Shape to get a hold of me, and then once I can establish that, then maybe we can do a lift-a-thon. But my thought process is to be there at that In Shape and having something go on from there in Northern California.
I love it. See, these are the really cool things. So then we can, okay, now back to Coach up in Northern California. How are we doing an In Shape gym? You know, and oh, Tamara, we're now at this amount, you know. Okay, now let's get everybody to go over there. Anybody close, you know, okay. Oh, someone just called in. Okay, you're going to be calling your friends over in the Northern California area or whatever it may be. We'll figure that out, but I love it. I love it.
Chuck, I love it. I love it too. That's awesome.
Look, things happen sometimes. You know, you can sit there and try and find, make things happen, but they just happen. And there it was, and they have the big signs, and they're actually trying to get money for the month. But we're going to go beyond that. So that particular day, once I set that in, then I'm going to go to the American Cancer Society, because we all know Month 1 is fighting cancer.
Right.
And so I want to go to the Sutter Center in Vallejo. I want to see if they can get involved and see what we can get. But the base will hopefully be In Shape in Sassoon, California.
I love it.
See what happens when you actually go work out, bro?
Oh, you funny.
True. That's true.
It was a rough. I told Month 1 this morning when I got back. I said, "I got to tell you, man, me getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and getting to the gym at 4 calls for a nap somewhere during the afternoon." Automatic.
Well, you know, and thank you for sharing that. And so what we can do also, Aaron, is in the Google's area, we can have something for that, you know, like, okay, that we have a company that wants to get involved, that wants to have, and Coach Chuck wants to be at this location. And then that way we can be working these things in to the 24-hour spreadsheet that we'll have in regards to, okay, now we'll do, because we're going to have this fully, it's going to be produced. And we're going to, and Carol is going to help to make that happen. That's what she does. She's a genius at it. She keeps things running. You know, like, okay, we're a minute, okay, 5 minutes down, 2 minutes, 1 minute, you're getting cut off here soon, you know, and so we stay on time because it's going to be like any event. We need to be respectful of everybody's time. And also the way that we're going to have it loaded, that I know because of what I did. Renee was at the facility when we did this in Vegas last year, and there was a couple of them because of you know, this was our first time, and then we had some coming in, some that were coming in from other locations, and there was a couple of them that we missed the moment and we lost the window, so I had to load quickly another show, get it going, and we did, but we were down for a little time. The rest of it, it was seamless. And so we want to make sure with the production people like Barbara and others that I've been talking to that have shows, if we can get everybody involved to be ready to say, okay, now, you know, 5, 2, 1, okay, now this one's ready to go, and have them queued up. And if we have the remote people, we'll have a team, right, Carol? Yeah, okay.
You know,
Yes, Mikey.
Tamara, I think it just asked you a question.
We didn't hear you. Ask it again. Oh, she shaked her head. You couldn't see. She shook her head yes. Okay, everything. Okay, sorry. All right, let's continue. I am.
Sorry, I was on mute. My voice is very sore. So
She's got. She's sick.
No worries. I hope you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
But
yes, we're gonna work on getting it to you.
She's the one that when if anybody knows Teresa on her back to back shows, Carol's the one that makes all of those happen. She's the one that books the guests. She's the one that makes sure that they're there. She's the one that keeps it going. She's the one that if there's a trouble, she troubleshoots it, and she keeps the show running. And Carol is going to be in, you know, she's going to be on top of it, and the production piece of it, she's going to be right there and pulling her magic, and she can be a bit of a taskmaster when she needs to be.
She's really
Thanks, Tamara. Thanks, Tamara.
You're welcome. You deserve it. All right, and so
back on mute.
Okay, all right. We do have a question for you all, and that is, if there's anybody that has back end, and if you know of anybody that would be interested to join us if they have this, we are with the website that we're building out. We were talking about that today. We're waiting. Brooke is working on the look and feel and the branding of it, and you think that maybe do you think Friday's still a realistic time?
I'm shooting for Friday for the logo, so we can go over that. So
okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Seriously, that would be awesome, Brooke. That's so needed. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem.
I love you for that.
Yes, Renee.
This is like a shot in the dark, literally, but you know, you're on my mind a lot, and how I can help and contribute, and I know there are things I already can do and whatnot, but I got a glimpse of Shark Tank, believe it or not, this last week for like a short time. I was at my mom's, and just hear me out for this. A new guy was on. His name is Daniel Lebetsky. Never heard of him before, didn't know, but he happens to be the CEO of Kind Bars, Kind. And I was at a meeting today, and right in front of me were those Kind Bars. I looked him up on LinkedIn. I went to connect with him. And I'm thinking maybe there's a way, and I don't know, so this is just speaking, but it keeps popping up. And then, as I said, I was at this place today, and they were in front of me. I'm like, Renee, you got to talk about this. Maybe there's something there that we can connect with him, and he's very philanthropic. And I think if there's a way that we can have him as one of the sponsors and donate a portion of the sale of the bars to Chemo Buddies. This is what went on in my head the second I saw him, and his story of how he came from rags to riches, and his whole story. You can look him up on LinkedIn. And I was going to start, messaging him, and I said, well, let me find out what I'm going to do before I just, throw myself out there. But that's what went on in my head, quite frankly, with Chemo Buddies and him.
I love it. I love the idea. I love the everything Kind Bars stand for. I think you should run with it. I don't know how Tamara feels, but I think I think it aligns with the mission of Chemo Buddies for sure.
That's why I logged into it in my head, and then when I was in a meeting today, I looked down in front of me and I see this Kind Bars. I'm like, oh my God, there it is again.
They're really good. They're really good. I think.
I actually haven't had them, but they were at the place I was at, so I took a picture. I'm like, okay, Renee, you gotta talk about it.
Music festivals that I go to, and I think they're awesome.
Yeah, but it's the message is kind of heartfelt, and maybe there's a way it could combine with. I don't know, but here we're just speaking amongst each other and putting ideas out there, and that's an idea that came to me this week. So I wanted to share with everybody here.
I'm open to it as long as their message is the same as ours. I'm pretty much sure it is.
Yeah.
Jason seems to have something going on with his face. Do you have anything you want to share with that? Are you thinking Jason Cisneros? Are you thinking anything about
it's
this?
called handsome. I can't do anything about it.
I know. I know.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
All right. Well, I just,
Jason, you just look like you're in such a deep train of thought there.
Yeah, then I was like, okay,
what is staring at your picture? What's going on with Jason there?
Well, I was actually looking up because I think I know the guy from Kind Bars. I was looking in my
Rolodex.
Yeah, thank you. Like I literally,
don't I have a great group of people here that can finish your sentence?
Yeah. Literally, like I have an EA, and she like tells me one day, she says, "Jason, you keep saying Rolodex. What is that?" And I'm like, "You're fired. You're fired."
It's almost his bedtime. He's got to get up in a couple hours.
That's right, baby.
Tamara, is there any way that we get flyers or cards or anything with this chemo? Because in Fairfield, right down from the In Shape, is one of the Budweiser plants.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
One of the large ones. And then right down the street from Budweiser is...
You just want to go there to get a beer, Chuck.
No, I want to go to Jelly Belly because I'm not drinking now because I'm on a Jason's on a 90-day and it's counting down, but I'm on a 30-day because I want to be rocked when I see him a month from today in Utah. So, but no, there's a Jelly Belly factory, and we all know about the Jelly Belly factory. It's right here in Fairfield. So there's two places other than In Shape that I'd like to go and talk to if I had something to give them. Right now, I'm just giving them my business card.
Right. Okay. To answer your question, that's part of the whole thing with what Brooke's doing. And then also with Matt, we had the digital person, Tony, and then we have Matt, who is in Vegas, who is working with the possible print. We'll know here in the next few days if they're going to take us on and be our printing company and do it all as a sponsor. And so Matt was really, he talked with, I think, Brooke, and Matt was like ready to start just getting something together and just putting something together. And it was like, okay, well, the chicken and the egg situation, it's like we need it.
Because one of the first things they ask for is, do you have a card? Or do you have a flyer? Or do you have this? Or do you have that? You know what I mean? And so
we can always create it on Vistaprint if we had to, but I think, Chuck, what you're saying is the logo is being reinterpreted at the moment. It's done, then we can probably get that to you.
Anything.
Well, we have some of the old stuff, and you don't want that. It's pretty horrid. What, Brooke, when you talked to Matt last, how did that go? Because I spoke with him yesterday, and he was talking about what he was actually talking about getting is that we would have at some point, because we have Cancer Centers of America, we've got some of the other big groups that City of Hope, some of these different ones that want our information to be in the chemotherapy rooms and in the radiology rooms And so that if they hear that they have, cancer, that they will be able to get the buddy and will be able to help them. We'll have them for the beta site. So it's been a matter of, okay, we need the beta site up and going, and then we need to have these things printed. It looks as though we've got the printing company possibly totally in. And so then he was like, what else do we need? And we were talking about the trifolds, we were talking about cards, we were talking about some of the other things, but it's all about the look and feel of where we're going. And so then I put Brooke and Matt together because he is, Renee knows him, he was involved with us last year. He's a get it done kind of guy now, he's out there in Vegas, and he's actually going to the PGA event this weekend, and he's representing Chemo Buddies for Life, and he's going to be talking to certain people about possibly getting involved with us too. So yeah. So how did that go? What was the last thing that you guys said?
Okay. Well, you and I discussed doing cards. However, I don't know if that was just for Chemo Buddies for Life or for the Givathon. So what are we focusing on first? Do we want to hand out cards for the Givathon, or do we need cards specifically for Chemo Buddies for Life?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? We're throwing a lot of stuff in the pot right now. So what's priority? So,
the priority has been this, and what we may need to do, Chuck, to answer your question is just to have, typewritten information, and that you can have to talk about what it is, what our mission is, who we're helping, and what would they, and make sure that it's something that would make a lot of sense for them. And in regards to the immediate mission, and this is where Jason is one of my coaches. Melissa and I talked about this very thing today, and it was, I think everybody's in agreement. The very, very most important thing right now is to get the Giving Tuesday event up and going, because we've got a time element on it. And so
we have, so this will be the last meeting. I wanted to sit in on this meeting, kind of get to get the format right. But this is going to be the last time this is the way that a meeting's held. The program that we do, I don't think anybody here, Christopher's in, he's in my program, and plus he was on my team. So there's a format to meetings. Okay. Cause I don't know anybody that likes meetings, no matter how passionate we are about what we're doing. Right. We all hate meetings. I'm one of them. And so, having 26 companies at one point, that were in my organization, one of the things that we had to do is we had to streamline meetings. And I've got a 90-minute format. And what did we start out with is, what did we commit to last week, right? And then in the middle, we talk about the subjects that need to be handled. And then we all assign ourselves 4 action items for the next week. So how many weeks do we have before the Giving Tuesday?
We have 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, so
9.
So if we have 9 weeks, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13, let's say that we've got 12, an average of 12 people that are going to be at all these meetings, right? So you've got 9 weeks times 12 people times 4 action items. That means we're going to get 432 very specific, very targeted action items done between now and Giving Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody ever gets 100% a completion ratio. So let's say it's 75% of that. So you're going to be somewhere around the 375 to 400 mark. And those targeted action items, like Brooke will come in and we'll say, okay, Brooke, she's going to have an area of responsibility. She's going to say, I'm going to go talk to, Bill Gates. I'm going to go talk to Melinda Gates. I'm going to go and here, blah, 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 blah. And then we'll come back the next week, and it's just a question and answer. It's a binary mathematical equation. Marianne will really appreciate it, because it's just, yes, I did it. No, I didn't. Now, if you got to know, there's a section in there that says, why not? Right. And it's not a thing of saying I didn't get it done and we're attacking. What we're saying is, what's the roadblock so that there's 13 people here hey, Brooke, maybe I know Bill Gates, right? That, you know, I have his cell phone in my, you know, or blah, blah, blah. And we go, oh, cool. And so now you give that information, you connect, and it's a synergistic snowball, right? That is meant to hit the objectives of Giving Tuesday, which, you know, the objectives are what I want to focus on. Okay. Because the rest of it is everything that we do from now until then, we want it to be targeted towards the objective, right? So what are the objectives of Giving Tuesday? Have we clearly stated those yet? What's our dollar amount that we want to hit, that we want to raise?
Marianne and I went over that the other day, and we were putting it at 50,000.
50,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be better for all of us to know that we've got that 50,000 covered before Tuesday hits.
Right.
Right. And then, you know, and we'll know, okay, well, these people are coming, they've committed to 5,000. These people are coming, you know, we're going to have this segment, probably going to be 50 people there. We'll probably get $250. Like, this is all the work that we can do ahead of time so that it's not a surprise.
Right.
Okay. And then, you know, somebody can be doing research. What have been the most successful Giving Tuesday events out there? Because we don't want to recreate the wheel if we don't have to. Right? What are some of those how much money? Like, let's find a bunch of people that did $50,000 and up and find out what their format was. Right? But that, we'll do this next time. I didn't want to come in here and, you know, do like I do, which is bulldog my way in and get shit done.
Oh, please do. But I seriously, I want this. This is what I want. I wasn't on your team, so this is not what I've been involved in, and yet this is what I want. So thank you. Let's do it.
Be careful what you wish for.
I got myself prepared for you tonight, Jason, because I had a talk with Tamara, so I was ready for you tonight.
You were ready. Good.
Oh, you having a toga
I
party?
was ready for you.
Nice. Well, you know, so this is.
You know what, Jason? I'll take that on, and I'll look it up and see what success people have had. I'll do that in the next couple of days here, and I'll have it prepared and give you guys an answer.
Is this meeting awesome on a consistent day and a consistent time every week?
So far, we've done. This is our second one. Same time, same day.
Got it.
Wednesday at 6:00 p.m. Pacific time, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, and you go for how long? Do you have a specified?
Well, you had said an hour and a half, 2 hours. We had it 1 hour the first time. And so, no, we haven't had it specified yet.
My format is 90 minutes.
Okay.
Because usually what you want to do is, you know, we'll go through, this is sort of a big team. Normally, if it was a company, we don't have, is that my boy? Hey, buddy.
Say hi, Jack.
Hello.
I miss him already. So awesome getting to meet him. So anyway, so essentially what we do is we're going to have 15 minutes where we go through, and most teams, you know, in my organizations, in my companies, we don't get them past 10. We'll be 10, 13, you know, we'll be somewhere between 10 and 15 here. It'll be okay. And we're going to go through and do those yes, no's. That takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. And then setting them again on the other side. What I'd like for everybody to do is have an idea, you know, written out, have 4 action items that you're ready to roll with for the next week, right? Just come in with things that you already are, you know, think that you can do for the following week. And then if they change, in the middle is something that we call a storm session, okay? And in the storm session, we just go through and we say, okay, Tamara, what do you have to talk about? Okay, I've done this, I did this. I need some help with this, right? Okay, great. Awesome. Are you done with your storm? Yeah, good. Christopher, it's your turn for storm. And what he'll do is he'll say, wait a minute, I'm shutting down. And I'll tell him to say fuck. And then he'll be good. He'll be back into it. And
he says fuck very well.
He does.
He does.
And so anyway, so that's the progression, right? Everybody has a chance to say what they need to say. Plus there's crosstalk in being able to, you know, if Marianne has something that can help you, Tamara, that's the time. It's very efficient instead of having one person that just you know, that just runs the meeting, which is the way that they used to be when, you know, before I finally said, I can't do it anymore. Like, I don't like it. But it's a very effective way for us to meet. So between this week and next week, Tamara, you and I will get together and
Friday.
make a note to ask Danielle to build a Mio sheet for this team. Okay. And that Mio sheet, so just so you guys know our terminology, Mio is MIO, massively important outcomes. And so the 4 action items that we're going to take, there's a couple of rules that go along with them. One is that they need to be predictive of the outcome. And the other one is that it has to be influenceable by me. And I know that's not a word, but it's one that I made up, and I'm going to stick with it, just like Shakespeare. Yes, I just compared myself to Shakespeare. So influenceable, right? And that means that we have total control over it. It's not like I say, okay, well, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to have Christopher make sure that he gets me some hair grow, right? Because now it's up to Christopher. It's not up to me.
It's going to be a hard one.
It'll be impossible for me because hair doesn't grow on a busy street, brother. That's what I'm talking about. I don't waste my hormones growing hair. I could do this all day. It's a solar panel for a love machine. What else you want to know? So anyway, Kent knows what I'm talking about. So those will be the outcomes. So what we need is we need a sheet. I love that Carol's going to take on doing some research, because she can come back and say, you know what, here were the top 5 Giving Tuesdays. You know, here was the components. And then we can say, okay, you know, comedy was one, a singer was one. There was, you know, a chef or somebody with recipe, whatever it is, right? And so that'll be great for us to start that conversation. And, you know, tonight's probably, I didn't want to kick this all off tonight because I just wanted to get a feel for what y'all been doing. And it'll never be done that way again. Just so everybody knows, never be done that way again. No judgment. It's just the way that, I mean, it's how I learned in business, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm good with this. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So that's my input. I would say, you know, if somebody wants to take on, like we can practice tonight and say, you know, hey, Christopher, what are a couple of things that you want to commit to between this week and next week for Giving Tuesday?
Fuck.
Oh, I've missed this look on your face. I missed the look.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Well, one of the issues I'm running into with doing this is it's at December 3rd, and at that time I'm going to be in Cambodia. So it's me trying to figure out, okay, is it even possible for me to even stream in the first place, or do I need to make a pre-recorded video, whatnot, or another possibility that popped in my head during this meeting is maybe I could just talk to some of my artist friends to see if they want to jump in and help post for me.
Yeah, I mean, either way. So just figure out what you're going to do on December 3rd, right? You'll come back with a plan next week with what your participation will be on December 3rd. Okay. So that's one. Right? Same thing, you know, Tony, what can you commit to between this week and next week? Just one thing. We'll just go through and practice.
Off the top of my head, there's probably a lot more work I could do on the back end with setting up some of the, the forums and groups and stuff like that. Now, I do need a little bit of direction for what those will be, but some of them I can probably come up with on my own.
Okay. So what would be your, and this is great. I'm not picking on you, Tony. This is great coaching for everybody that's in here, because when we want it to be measurable, right? So when we come back that next week, we say, okay, this was complete. So if it's a deliverable, we're going to have a Dropbox. So, you know, if we have a deliverable, like I'm going to get 2-3 pages of the welcome forum that are going to be completely done, right? And so you have a Dropbox to be able to that you can put your completed work in before the Mio session. So you say yes, so you get a yes in the session, right? So Tony, and by the way, you're going to know it's going to be in a spreadsheet, and you have basically a sentence long for you to be able to say, here's my outcome.
Okay, so just to make it a little more specific, I will add 3 categories to the forums section of the website by next week.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Love it. All right, Renee, what's one thing that you can do between this week and next week?
Well, I'm going to talk to some of the people, Tamara, in KTM to see what they could do to assist with Giving Tuesday. I have some people already in mind that I need to speak with, or that I'd like to speak with, to see what they can do to either sponsor or support for that day. KTM is a very big organization that I'm a part of. I'm in LA, and I'm in Orange County, but California, but I know a lot of great people there who I believe also, I know they know Tamara too, and I feel they would be very supportive.
Great. And that's a great example of it won't fit in a box. Right? It won't fit in a sentence. So what's the measurable, right? Because talking to somebody is, okay, I'm going to go talk to somebody, blah, blah, blah. What's the outcome? And forgive me, I'm just here to kind of add value. I'm not being a dick, I promise. I will be next week. No, I'm just kidding. But
okay. I have so much to look forward to. Oh my
He's
God.
giving us warning. He's warning us. Warning.
Speaking the truth.
Yeah. So and again, I'm just joking because it's fun.
No, but your point is well taken.
Yeah. So what is it that you want to accomplish that's measurable?
So if well, I guess I won't know. What I want to do is see if they can financially support in some way, because I know people who have their own companies. And
Got it. Okay. So here's how I would help you narrow it down. I'm going to have 5 conversations and I want to get 2 commitments.
Good. Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Perfect. Okay. Have 5 conversations and 2 commitments. And then you come back and you go yes or no, but the value is not the value. There's no judgment in the yes or no. There's a learning in the yes or no, right? You come back and you say, yes, I talked to 5 people and I got but no, I didn't get 2 people that said yes. Okay. Excellent. What was the conversation? That would be your storm, right? What were the conversations like? Well, they came back and they said, they found out that there was going to be this kid that does art that had his hair's just too long, and so then we go, okay, we know how to handle that. Or they can kiss our ass because we love Christopher's hair the length it is. But it gives us an opportunity to deal with the problem that is instead of the problem that isn't. Like we come up with all that, most meetings are about busy work and it's one person talking and it's like, they talk and then nothing gets done and you come back the next meeting and nothing's been done. Right. So I love that. And we're going to get valuable feedback because that's going to the marketplace saying, here's what we're looking for. We'd love to get you to commit to $1,000 or $500 or, $10,000 or whatever it is. Right. For this particular Givathon. Tamara, the other thing that I want.
Here, let me mute.
Is somebody saying something?
I think Matt is on a phone.
Oh,
Matt
got
just
it.
joined
Okay.
us.
So Tamara, the other thing that I want you to be, that I want you to put together is some ideas around the companies that are going to be sponsoring, people that would donate. What do they get? Right. And I want everybody kind of thinking that way, right? Right. What are the people that are giving stuff? What do they get? We've got to make this, it's not just, hey, come in and it's your civic duty to come in and help Chemo for Buddy. Kiss my ass. You know what I mean? Like there's 50,000 other charities that I could be a part of. Like, why, what's the special thing here? What do I get? And people that give, they give for 2 reasons. Okay. One, to be recognized, right? And the other one is because they don't want to be seen, right? It's like it truly is a civic duty. And you have to find out who you're dealing with. If somebody's ego-based giving, then we want to pump their ego. We'll just say, look, we'll mention yourself, 17 times from 1201 to 1272, right? Right. There's no number 1272, but
Jason, I can give you an example. So one of my guys that is donating, their family has gone through cancer, and his father actually has throat cancer right now. and his brother's wife has breast cancer. So this is the reason why he's donating, because they lost their brother a couple of years ago to stage 4 cancer, and the one that is actually giving me the money for the donation had prostate cancer. So they've all had different types of cancer.
See, we can do an in memoriam, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just
for the
going to
person
say.
that they loved.
Right.
You know, it could be, you know, because I want my father to live. Like they're, you know, the issue, and those of you that don't know me, I'm obsessed with falling in love with the outcome of our clients. I'm obsessed with it. And so we have two clients in this. We have people that have cancer, right? And we have people that have, we have three. We have people that are going through cancer or have had it. We have their families, right? And then we have donors.
Right.
And so those are our three customers. And I want to fall in love with what their outcome is, because then we can meet their needs. If we're coming at it from their direction, from their perspective, you know, it's better. Go ahead, Tamara.
And what I'm thinking too is that we have a few different videographers. So one thing I can commit to is that I will talk to a couple of the other ones that we would like to have a 1 to 2 minute spot that would be like a really beautiful immemorial kind of a video that we could then at the end tie in those people's names that had sponsored or had done, you know, donated beforehand, and then during the event we can then possibly play it a couple of different times and then have a voice coming afterwards. So something like this, right? So getting the videographer to help us create it. I know which one I'm going to go to.
Okay, so when you see me do this, that means elevate. Okay. Because we need to elevate up over the problem. What we're doing is we're getting into the weeds and we're solving the problem.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, yes, that's why I spoke up, because I want to make sure that I'm following what we're doing. Okay,
correct,
so
100%. So we do want to solve the issue, but it's going to be somebody's mission to solve that issue between this week and next week.
Okay,
right?
so I would just say I will solve the issue.
Boom, there you go.
Okay, there we go. See. This is a good learning experience. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I like it. Chuck, what can you do between this week and next week besides go to the gym more than one time?
Make it back from Hawaii because we're leaving on Friday.
Are you going to Friday? Nice.
Yeah. Papa wants to jump in the water. It's time for her to jump in the water. I will have a conversation with the GM from InShape and have it secured that we're going to use that spot for the Givathon.
Okay, so you're going to get, so in a sentence, you're going to get a yes or a no from the GM of the gym that you go to.
InShape, yes.
Got it. Okay, perfect.
Simple.
Got it. Marianne?
I think by our next meeting, we're going to have a Chemo Buddies for Life checking account. There's a lot of compliance work that I have to do with Tamara to get this whole thing rolling. And then I'll assist with the Google spreadsheet for all the donations coming in.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Marianne. I just love numbers people. Like the rest of us who have emotions and shit, like it's tough because we have too many words.
Jason.
Like, boom, boom. Yes.
Somebody's asking about objections. I guess because they're new to the call. Maybe you can kind of just
is that Matt?
Explain it a little bit to the person. No, I think it's Barb.
Oh, you mean the objectives, right? And
the objectives.
Yeah, the objective number one is $50,000. It's a great question. So the objective is for $50,000 to be raised on Giving Tuesday. That gives us 9 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Are there any other objectives, Tamara, that you want to achieve with Giving Tuesday? Okay, what are they?
Education of what Chemo Buddies is all about, who we are serving.
So how do we know that we did that?
The question I have then for Tony is if we decide to put Chemo Buddies for Life beta site live, then we will know that we do because of the numbers of people that would enroll. So
Okay, so I
then
want you, so restate what the objective is.
the objective would be that we would enroll chemo buddies, both the support buddies and the patient buddies, into the beta site.
Into the beta site.
Mhm.
Okay, and I'm, so the objective, the other objective for Giving Tuesday is what? And I'm glad, there's nothing wrong with you being confused at the answer. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm glad, because I want to make sure that we're covering everything. Because the objective is education of what Chemo Buddies is all about.
So let's stick on that. Education about what Chemo Buddies is about. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that that has been achieved?
So could we have like testimonials of some of our current buddies where they have actually been affected in the positive way up to now?
What do we, I love that, Aaron. Great. Testimonials are always good, right? Because that helps people go, here's my situation and here's what we went through. Okay. But the issue for me right now is, if we want people to be educated on Chemo Buddies for Life, we want them to be educated on it. Why?
Do we need more statistics on why it's so important? Is that what you're looking for?
No, really what I don't know the answer to that. I'm not asking I'm saying like but I'm an objective guy. I've got to be able, when we say that we want people to be educated about Chemo Buddies for Life, I cannot hang my hat on that at all.
Okay.
I don't know what it means.
Okay, then let me restate. We want to make people aware that we are here so that they will enroll.
You want more enrollment.
Thank you, Brooke. I think Brooke nailed it. You want enrollments.
You want emails, you want clicks, you want
okay.
From your websites. You want people going to your website.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So what's the outcome of somebody enrolling?
The outcome will be that they will be a part of the community. That's too wordy. The outcome.
They're going to be a buddy, or they need a buddy.
Right. They're either a support buddy or a patient buddy. Yes.
Okay.
Or a part of the community. They may do one of the three. They may for one of the three reasons.
One of the three reasons. Donation?
No, be a part of the community.
Yep.
Be a patient buddy or be a support buddy.
Why would anybody just randomly want to be a part of the community?
Some of them don't want to be one-on-one. They don't want that. They want to just be kind of like a part of they're not feeling possibly well enough. They just want to be a part of a community to feel like they're not alone, but they don't want the responsibility of the one-on-one.
Do these people have cancer? Is that who you're talking about? Okay.
Most of those.
Got it. So you got community.
Yeah, I know.
Loners,
Comes
right?
up on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just a minute. Let me mute.
Because I'm hooked up with the.
Okay, go ahead.
So if I think about this and I'm processing, right? I'm processing. So you've got buddies, you've got patient buddies,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have community
Mm-hmm.
participants,
Right.
And we need to say, basically cancer loners, like they don't really want to participate, right? They have cancer and they want to kind of absorb good energy, but they don't want to be known.
Right, exactly. And Barbara just asked a question, can anybody around the United States be a chemo buddy? Yes, actually anybody throughout the United States, and we're opening it up as soon as we get this going. It could be anyone in the world. Right now we do not have translators quite yet that we will be able to use, but we're going to be syncing those in at some point. So the requirement right now would be English speaking.
We're going to have a vetting process at some point in time. because there are weird assholes that ruin everything, you know, that they touch. So we're going to eventually have to run these through. We're going to have a background check, you know. They're just people that like to ruin shit. Okay. So the other thing that I see as an objective of enrollments are people who are financial donors or volunteers.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Because all volunteers aren't necessarily buddies.
No.
They're people like this entire crew, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you've got okay. So that gives us 5 segments that we want people to enroll in that day.
Okay.
Okay. So we would need to, what we need to do is put numbers to how many buddies do we got to set objectives, right? We want to get 50 buddies. We want to get 50 patient buddies. We want to get, 100 community people involved. We want to get, 50 donors, and we want to get 50 volunteers. Okay. And maybe it's not all of those, but what I'm saying is if that's an objective, then the objective is to get enrollments in these 5 sectors.
Right.
And what that means is we've got to have something built that set or a segment that lines it out and says, here's our segments. If you want to enroll in our community, here's what the roles are, right? And we'd love for you to go click below and sign up right now as a donor. Sign up right now if you need a chemo buddy. Sign up right now if you want to be a buddy, right? And so there's clear, look, our audience needs us to make it as simple as possible for them to help us.
Right.
Right. And so if that's an objective, it's not just we want to get enrollments. We want to get enrollments in these 5 sectors, and we'll set some number. Don't have to do it tonight. Okay. We don't have to do it tonight, but enrollments is something that we can tangibly measure.
Okay.
And I believe that, and what that does is that informs all of the activity that we're going to be putting into this organization, right? So everybody that's going to perform, when Christopher comes on and he's doing some art or whatever he's doing, he's going to be talking about saying, look, as we're doing this art or, yak, look, there's 5 buttons below, just figure out where you fit in the community and make sure you put your name and number in there, right? What you're going to do is you're going to get, you'll get a print of what I'm doing here. You'll get a print of that if you sign up for these things right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making shit up as I go, by the way. But this is the kind of thing that can be happening, that everybody that takes over an hour or a 30-minute sector or whatever it is, they know where you're asking for money and you're asking for participation in one of these 5 areas. Okay.
Yes.
So that's 2 objectives. We have a money objective and we have an enrollment objective. What else what other objectives are we looking to hit for Giving Tuesday?
Well, I think you've pretty much covered those. Those are the big ones.
Got it. So if we get a bunch of enrollments and we get 50 grand, this is a success.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then next year it will be more, but I mean, let's be realistic.
I don't know what that word means, by the way, but
Me either. I mean, that's at least. Okay, what? Take it back.
Yep. I have no damn idea.
Yeah, no.
So, but this is tangible. Like, we can get our teeth into it. Now we can start to build the machine that's going to produce that outcome. Okay. And now everybody knows the objectives, right? I think Barb was the one that was asking it. Now she knows the objectives. So now, as we're thinking through what are the 4 action items I'm going to take week to week, we know it's going to be towards $50,000 for that day, or it's going to be enrollments in these areas. What can I do?
Okay, and Barb's asking that she's in a Facebook group and they want to know what the organization is about and how to become a buddy and what the money is being raised for.
So that's a 1-sheeter that must be clear.
Right.
And so whoever's the best at saying, here's what our mission is. Here's what it is. Boom, boom, boom. So somebody that's got an idea of how to do a marketing sheet needs to take that one on?
Marianne's.
So I could help with that. We could just talk about the education and all of that, and especially with respect to the numbers, I can tell them exactly what it's going to be used for.
Got it.
That's
And
what everybody wants.
yeah, well, they want the numbers, but they also need a story. Okay.
Right,
So
yes.
somebody else has to tell the story that gets people's heart and mind.
Cameron
going.
can tell the story, and I'll tell where the dollars are going to go.
Boom. Perfect combination.
Yeah, we can do
Perfect
that.
combination. Okay. I love it. All right. Who hasn't gone yet? Aaron, did you go?
I didn't. So I was, now that you asked me, I go blank. Sorry.
Okay. I've been dealing with Christopher for like 10 months. So
It happens.
Oh, well. So I was,
No,
me
he
and
has
Tom
he has an
talked
effect
about
on people.
basically putting
That's his
in
magic power.
a survey of some type so that people that are wanting to participate, we can put that system that funnels it down into where they're wanting to participate. So a funnel and a system that kind of goes back to that Google. Does that make sense?
I can't put that in a box.
Yeah, it's where I'm like, that box place.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. But
How
just,
about, okay, maybe
I my own boxes, so that's where I'm like, where do you want that to say?
can I try on what she's saying? Can I try to, okay. A questionnaire that will funnel into, the answers would funnel into Google.
okay.
No?
So again, I want to think outcome, right?
Right, okay. All right.
What's the objective?
So the objective would be making sure who is going to be participating in Giving Tuesday. We're actually funneling them into the right categories to simplify it. It's like a system just to funnel them through. So if someone wants to volunteer, they get to click on the survey or whatever to answer the questions to send us in the right place. So we have that information of what they're wanting to do.
Do you, so are you going to do coding?
It's not necessarily coding. That's where I'm like, the funnel side of things, I don't know the coding part. That's where we're figuring this out. So
what you would do is you're going to build the framework.
Yeah, the outline basically of
The
that.
outline. Perfect. I love that because that they call that I mean, you know, I don't, where'd Tony go? He's not here, but that's
He had
called
to go family.
Yeah, sure. No problem. But that's called a wireframe. Right.
Right. And actually, Aaron, I do have another volunteer that we could possibly team you with on that does have that experience. And she said that she would help. So Aaron, and then, so I can team you with Sony for that.
Okay. But Sony, is her name Sony?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sony would need to have her own outcome.
Okay.
Because we don't want to team people. Because there's no reason in teaming people if one person can do it by themselves.
Okay, I see. All right. That's okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good training for me. Okay.
So Aaron can conceptualize it. It takes a designer, right? I mean, these are the different segments of technology. You've got to have somebody that designs, like, here's the functionality of it, and then they hand that off to a tech person that goes, okay, great, we can't do half of that shit, but here's what we can do, right? and then they end up then handing it off to a programmer that can code it. So those are the three segments, and maybe it seems like Tony's got a design mind and a programming mind.
Yeah, he does have both.
Super cool.
Yeah,
so
he
Aaron
does.
can say, here's what I'm thinking, and so just come back next week with the concept. And if you can communicate with Tony, who I believe is probably going to be the guy.
He's very involved.
Yeah.
Very involved.
Then let's try to get that to him before our meeting next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Barbara, I have an idea. I'd like to interview to show people passion. If we can find the people that's dealing with cancer or in remission and do some interviews for them for testimonials weekly so people can see how Chemo Buddy. Okay. So Barbara, is that going to be your Mio? Are you going to set up what I would say? You're not going to get that done in a week, but what I would say is I would come back with a if you're willing to take on this as a Mio, you say, I'm going to put together a storyboard of ideal interviews that we could turn into a video that would be emotionally engaging. I love this idea.
This is
So
good.
if you're good. She said yes. I like it. Short, simple answer. Okay, so that's Barbara's outcome. All right, who did? Caroline, did you go yet? No? Okay, tell us what yours is. You're going to do the research.
So I'm going to do the research for the top 5 and get get information on that to see where it stands in the different organizations. And also, I'm still going to follow up with the 7 companies that I have for the donations.
Okay, what's your objective with them?
Well, I'm supposed to pick up the raffle stuff, like I told Tamara. I got some raffle stuff I have to pick up because we are planning on having a bit of a raffle too, like we did with the Fusion Project. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on this week.
Okay, so if you've talked to all 7 and it was the ideal outcome, what would happen?
If I talk to all 7.
So yeah, if you had a conversation with I'm assuming it was 7 people, 7 donors, or so. I'm trying to, maybe I didn't hear you correctly.
There's 3 companies, and then there's a couple of individuals.
Okay.
That I need to go pick up the product.
Okay.
So I need to get into communication.
Got it. Okay. And the objective is for you to get something that they've each promised?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. So you're going to go to all 7 people and you're going to get what they promised, or that they were blowing smoke up your butt?
Well, I know they're not blowing smoke up my ass.
Good.
I'll say that word.
I love ass. I mean, I love the
because
word.
they're all people I know, and I've worked with them on several different projects.
Okay.
And just to let you know, Tamara, I know the deputy mayor here, so I work with him a lot. And just to let you know, when this segment of this Giving Back Tuesday finishes, you start right away for the following year. You don't wait.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Okay, I just thought I'd let you know that because that's what he told us when he does our fair here. They're already starting the following year as this one's ending.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Okay, so I think that's everybody, right?
No, we didn't hear from Brooke.
Oh, Brooke, I thought you, okay, never mind. So Brooke, what are you going to do?
Well, you got, oh my God, from Jeff.
I love you. You weren't getting off the hook that easy.
I don't have my
no one does.
No, that'll teach me. So.
That's what happens when you're quiet in the corner.
That's right. Nobody puts Brooke in the corner.
You didn't leave me in the corner, so.
You don't fit in the corner. There's too much hair.
It's too tall. So number 1.
PG.
So number 1, Givathon logo. Number 2, some banner concepts, and I have 3 ideas for those: a generic Givathon banner, a sample of an event banner, and then a banner for enrollment, because we want people to go to the website to meet our objective. So, and then I'm going to talk to Matt to go over some print quotes for, like, we want postcards for the telethon.
So you're gonna get a print quote.
Right. So I assume that there should be some database of emails that you already have from your previous donors. So you want to build off of that, because that's what all the nonprofits I work with, they use that base to mail it off to their, quote, donor and alumni. So let them know, hey, we're having a telethon. And you might even want to challenge them to match, wink, wink, challenge each other. Like, you know what I mean? Have like a contest between like some of your, I don't know, people, or, you know, people that like to compete in this stuff. So
like Next Impactors or something.
There might be a few of those. Yes, in fact, we do have, but she couldn't be here tonight. She's working. We do have a newsletter that she and I were on the phone earlier today, that she's getting ready to go out, and the goal is to have it out in the next, at least the proof by this next week. So, but she's not here to give the actionable, Mio, but she and I talked about it earlier today, and that's the plan. So,
I think Barbara is trying to rebrand. I was reading back through her notes. She said, "Can anybody in the U.S. be a chemo bubby?" So,
well, that too.
I like it. I mean, bubby. Like it sounds.
Yeah, that's what my grandson's nickname is from his younger brother. So, it makes me think of my grandkids. Thank you, Barbara.
Rebranding. Barbara, stop it. We got other things to do. We're not rebranding. All right. So, okay, good. So that would officially be the end of a Mio session, right? We would have all that on a list. So, whoever took notes on who promised to do what, like if everybody got like a list of those, make sure it gets to Tamara. Tamara, you can work with Danielle to get that put onto a Mio sheet, and it'll be ready to go. We'll do our first Mio session next week. Same time, same place.
Perfect. And then we also have a recording of the meeting.
Right. So I mean, at some point, all we got to do is go back through and just get everybody's Mios, and then we'll actually fill in the spreadsheet. You'll practice at that, so you'll have it. And we next week though, we'll be going through it. It'll be real time. We'll put all these things in there, and then it'll be set for the next week.
Perfect. I love it.
Okay. So,
and then we sync it into the Google, right?
No, this is a standalone. This is a proprietary.
Okay. Okay.
My $1 million clients, this is what they operate off of.
Okay.
And then all the companies that I just sold, that's how I run my life. Actually, if I want to do anything, if I want to lose 50 pounds or, whatever, it's that I run my life off of Mio sheets.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But it's a standalone form. And what'll happen is, along the bottom, it's got tabs. So you can always go back and refer to it. So we're gathering data, right? Think about this from the perspective of scaling this around the world. You're going to have Chemo Buddies for Life chapter New York, Chemo Buddies for Life chapter LA, Chemo Buddies for Life chapter Denver, London, these types of places. And so what we're doing now is all being gathered into a repository, which is going to be this spreadsheet, and you'll see all of the activities and then the results of what happened to them the following week. Then you'll do more activities and you'll see the results that happen next week, right? And so what'll happen is by the time we get to the end of Giving Tuesday, we will have gone through, like I said before, 375 action items, and we'll say we'll take those 375, we'll break them down, and we'll say, okay, these were the top 50, the 80%, the 20% of our activities that got us 80% of the results.
Right.
And then we start way ahead of the game next year because we've gathered data, right? And we're executing on the knowns. And what then we can do is we can say, okay, what if we did this, right? Instead of this happening, what if we did this? And now you're doing a science project instead of a shotgun blast of activity with really no form.
Right.
Make sense? So, and then once we get that down, now we've got, we're in 50 states and we're in 17 countries, and everybody's doing the highest level activities and getting that highest level results.
Love it.
If hospitals would operate like this, we would be much better off.
Yes.
So, but they're in CYA mode. They're in cover their ass mode. So they hide shit instead of being like the black box for the airplane, right? Which black box for the airplane, something goes wrong, it immediately informs the software and the training for the pilots to increase safety over the years. It gets safer and safer and safer to fly. Right. Whereas in hospitals, they hire, somebody that got a tracheotomy that died because they gave them the wrong combination of medicine gets buried in the basement because they don't want to get sued. Instead of uploading into a black box so that somebody across the country that had the same thing, they go, oh shit, don't do that combo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and this is what's going to make Chemo Buddies a nonprofit that people will be able to trust because of the fact that we are being so transparent. We're working by the numbers, and I like it. I love it. Processes, duplicatable processes.
Process procedures. Okay.
Neos.
So I'm going to shut up because I'll keep going all night.
Okay, and so next week we're going to be, tonight we didn't do 4. Next week we're going to be doing 4 each.
We're going to be doing 4, and you can do extras or whatever, but you know, essentially what we want to always do is we want to do it's not that we're going to only do 4 things. Right. It's going to be, we are going to get these 4 things done as a priority because we as a group kind of filtered through and said, okay, that I agree with you, you know? So if Brooke comes on here one day and she goes, you know what? I want to take out the trash. I want to pick up my dry cleaning. I want to water my plants. We're going to go, the fuck does that have to do with Chemo Buddies for Life? You know, and she's going to go, oh, you're right. You know, so it's making sure it's like out there for all of us to see. And Marianne could see something that I wouldn't see, or Christopher could see something that Carol won't see. Like, that's the whole benefit of us going through this format, is that everybody's they're hearing it, they're seeing it, and all of our activities come closer and closer together so that there's a bunch of energy behind the tip of the spear. And we're only doing those things that matter most. And now everybody knows.
Everybody's input is
right.
connected.
Everybody has input. Everybody's listening. We're getting best thinking. You know, we're getting best practices. We're going to have, you know, Carol's going to come back and tell us, okay, here was the top 5. Here's what they did. We're going to implement, you know, we're going to have all 5 of them, and we're going to take the best of the best, and we're going to have a good strategy. Doesn't mean the strategy is going to pay off, but it means that we're going to have a strategy that we can measure.
Right.
Right. And so that way we end up making measurable progress along the way, and it's captured, and we, you know, all of the stuff and the things.
Love it.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to say goodnight because it's late here and I need to rest.
All right. Thank you.
So I will have my information for next week.
Carol, it was a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jason.
It was nice meeting you.
You too. Yeah, I think we're done.
I will talk to you next week, guys.
We are.
Yeah,
we're done. And so I'll send out the link for next week, and then I'll get I have all my list of everything to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure you get the Mio sheet from Danielle.
Yes.
And
yes.
And then she'll teach you. Just tell her you just need a little training session on how to get everybody's name in here, and then put the Mios in. Okay.
Okay. Wonderful.
You guys rock.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hey. Woohoo. Bye, Barbara.
Bye.
I need to set my relationships up like this Barbara thing. You know what I mean? She can't actually speak back to me. Like, that's what gave me a great idea for my next dating scene. That's only.
Everybody have a nice evening.
Oh, Barbara, we heard your voice. All right.
Bye, Barbara.
Bye. Thank you for being here. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.